For the very first time this season, the Toronto Raptors entered an NBA game as favorites to win. But as we can see from the scoreline, they failed to do so, losing 101-94 to the Brooklyn Nets in what was perhaps the worst game I've seen the Raptors involved in this season. Let's break down why in tonight's post-game show. And when I say worst game the Raptors have played in, not like the worst performance the Raptors have had. Look, they didn't play particularly well. It was a bad game. Both teams are firmly embroiled in a tank. Brooklyn, not as much. They're just dipping their toes in now. They have lost. Well, Brooklyn had lost, I believe it was 6 of their last 7. They were 10-16 coming to this game. And they traded Dennis Schroeder because they were too good. They're winning too many games. They want to tank. They want the best possible draft pick. So 2 teams really going to be involved in a tank this season, especially the Raptors after a loss like this. And with the players that we saw out today, yeah. I don't know if either team really wanted to win, and it looked like that on the floor. That was a real slow burn of a basketball game, and there's not really many other ways to describe it here. But before we go any further, reminder, we do content like this for pretty much every Raptors game, even games like this, even amidst the tank. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new, and drop a like if you enjoyed this piece of content along the way. The good news heading into this game was that Scottie Barnes returned to action here, which is crazy because 10 days ago we saw him roll his ankle against the New York Knicks after an entanglement with Karl Anthony Towns. Shams Charania of ESPN reported that he was going to miss several weeks, but 10 days later, he's in action here. A weird one because the Raptors are inevitably going to tank this season. They'd have every opportunity here to not play Scottie Barnes, to rest him, to give him time to come back. And they didn't. I wouldn't say rushed him back, but it was a lot quicker than expected. Not even a minutes restriction for Scottie Barnes either. He's got that LeBron level of healing to be able to play in a game like this. So you see that, and you see Barnes. They had every opportunity to rest Barnes today, and they don't. You see that and go, they really don't want to tank just yet. But then you also see, out of nowhere, RJ Barrett out with an illness. David Mitchell all of a sudden out. And you think, okay, is that tanking? Are they trying to tank already? But the evidence I have here, like Jakob Poeltl, back spasms against the Heat. Checks in after 2 minutes is fine. This game, Barnes, every opportunity to let him rest. And he plays here. I don't know if Barnes has a potential All-NBA appearance on his mind or an All-Star appearance on his mind, and that's why he's back in action already. I'm not sure, but nice to see him back and playing basketball, and it certainly makes the game a little bit more exciting. But I've said many times, like the big player the Raptors can't do without is Jakob Poeltl. He missed this game because of the groin injury he sustained in the previous game when he slipped on the floor and did the splits. Don't really know if we really felt the effects of him being missing because it was just 2 really bad teams today. Like the starting 5 for the Brooklyn Nets today with Ben Simmons at the point, Keon Johnson, Nick Claxton, Cam Johnson, and Jordan Finney-Smith. Early in the second quarter, Nick Claxton gets ejected for throwing the ball in the crowd, which made the game even worse. And then for the Raptors, I respect these guys, but man, Barnes, Dick, Walter, Abaji, Mobo as a starting 5 in the NBA. It's it's definitely 2 teams that have fallen on some tough times here. And in the end, the Raptors probably did enough to win this game. They had a really good third quarter. They're up 81-72, decently late on in the game. But the Brooklyn Nets closed the game on a 29-13 run, largely down to the play of Cam Johnson, who goes 9 of 15, 4-10 from 3 with 10 rebounds and 6 assists. One issue I have with the Raptors here, there's not a lot I can really comment on or discuss today because the game was just really boring and bad. But one thing I guess of note was the defensive matchups. Barnes was defending Ben Simmons. You wanted the size there. And Simmons played pretty well. He had 12 points on 5 of 9 shooting with 7 assists, 5 rebounds. But Grady Dick was a primary defender on Cam Johnson, and Johnson Johnson had his way with Dick. Maybe shouldn't say that. But Cam Johnson, especially in the fourth quarter, I believe it was a 15-point or so, I think it ended up being a 15-point fourth quarter for Cam Johnson to get his team over the line. an impressive display there from him. Who knows if he'll be on the move at some point. Perhaps at some point, especially late in the game. Do you go Barnes? Do you go Barnes on Cam Johnson to try and keep him at bay? I'm not sure. How much of a desire was there to win? I'm also not quite sure about that, but Cam Johnson gets me over the line. The Raptors, stat line wise, like it's some decent stuff here. Barnes goes 5-11 with 16 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. 2 blocks go with it. Tough. I mean, as much as the Brooklyn Nets suck, good defensive team still. Ben Simmons a fine defender. Claxton, when he was in, is a good defender. Cam Johnson's a good defender. Finney Smith is a great defender. There's a good defense here. And they kept this subdued Raptors offense at 94 points only for the game. Abaji led the way with 20 points on 8 of 16 shooting, 4 of 8 from 3. Great night from him. Grady Dick, 6 of 14 with 19 points. A good night from him as well. A lot of points were being racked up by Grady Dick this season, which is nice to see. Off the bench, not a big injection of scoring there, but I think the team stats will showcase the disaster of a game this was. Brooklyn go 40% from the field and win the efficiency game despite, they ended up winning the possession battle, I guess. Well, I mean, the possession battle was even. Brooklyn were +5 in offensive rebounds, but also +5 in turnovers. So possession battle finishes relatively even. But Brooklyn were more efficient and go 40% from the field compared to the 39.5% from the field for the Raptors. And that gets them over the line. Yeah. A real slog of a game. And I think for the first time this season, we really got to start opening up the tankathon because, that's our focus this year. 7 of 21, lost 6 in a row. Look at that green there for the Raptors. 6 losses in a row. A lot of those games happening at home as well. Don't think they're going to catch the Wizards, but they might be able to catch the Jazz or the Pelicans at some point this season. Tanking is going to be the way for the Raptors here. They just had they're in the mix. Is it one of the leaner parts of their schedule here? They had a rough start to the season schedule wise. They had a tough stretch of games. They had 2 more easier games here against Chicago where they lose and against Brooklyn where they lose, but now it gets tricky. Houston are really good. The Knicks are good. Memphis are really good. Atlanta's good. Boston's really good. It's a 6-game losing streak, and honestly, I see 5 more coming in a row. They're going to be big underdogs in all 5 of these games, especially if Pirtle remains out or if RJ Barrett doesn't play in the next one. Then you get Brooklyn at home again, and maybe they will be favored again. Maybe they snatch a win, but winning might be done for 2024. It's entirely possible that win against the Pacers, the second win in a row for the Raptors, they made them 7-15 on December 3rd, which got us kind of hyped for the season. It's possible that's the last win the Raptors will register in 2024. So tough go at things this season. Every time one player comes back from injury, 2 more go out. It's like Hydra, man. Barnes is back in, great. Okay, David Mitchell, RJ Barrett, and Pirtle out for this one. Tough whole scene, but we're grinding through. We'll grind through together right here with the Amateur Hour Production Network. Wherever you're watching, make sure you have hit that like button, subscribe for more Raptors content just like it. Happy holidays, and we will see you again, very, very soon.